Have you started noticing it's harder to get up from a chair or that your legs tire more quickly than before? That quiet struggle could be tied to something most seniors never suspect: meat. For decades, certain meats have been part of our everyday meals: bacon at breakfast, cold cuts for lunch, roast dinners on Sunday. But the aging body doesn't process food the way it used to. Some meats now work against your muscles, inflaming tissues, disrupting circulation, and silently draining strength from your legs. This doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, turning everyday activities into exhausting chores. The meats you once trusted for protein may now be accelerating frailty, stiffness, and even balance issues that increase fall risk. But there's good news. By removing the worst offenders from your plate, you can reclaim strength, improve mobility, and stay independent longer. Let's uncover the 7 meats that are quietly weakening your leg sand. Explore safer choices instead. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Processed deli meats: ham, turkey, Bologna, salami, pastrami, hot dogs, etc. These meats might feel like a quick and easy option, something you can slice into a sandwich or pick up for a fast meal, but they're quietly draining the strength from your legs with every bite. What many older adults don't realize is that deli meats and other processed varieties are packed with sodium, preservatives, and inflammatory fats. It's a combination that becomes more harmful the older you get. As you age, your body becomes more sensitive to chronic inflammation, and these meats only feed that fire. This kind of inflammation doesn't just lead to stiffness or soreness. It slowly breaks down muscle fibers, weakens joint structures, and narrows the blood vessels that supply your legs with oxygen and nutrients. Without that support, your legs begin to struggle, steps feel heavier, walking takes more effort, and the risk of falling increases. High sodium levels in these meats create another layer of danger. They cause your body to retain water, leading to swelling in the lower legs and feet. That swelling can press on nerves, slow down circulation, and make even simple movements feel burdensome. Many seniors start noticing leg cramps more often, or that familiar heavy feeling after lunch or dinner. But few connect it to what's on their plate. Processed meats quietly chip away at your leg strength, making daily activity, standing, walking, even rising from a chair more difficult over time. And the damage isn't limited to muscles or circulation. One of the most concerning elements in processed meats is their chemical additives, especially nitrates and phosphates. These compounds, added to extend shelf life and improve color, have been linked to nerve damage and cognitive decline. For older adults, this means impaired communication between the brain and leg muscles. You might feel unsteady on your feet or lose your balance more easily, not because you're out of shape, but because your nerves aren't firing properly. And when your nervous system can't clearly tell your legs what to do, your risk of stumbling or falling goes up dramatically. Falls in seniors are never small. They often lead to broken bones, emergency room visits, and long recovery periods that can permanently impact your independence. The danger of processed meat isn't dramatic or immediate. That's why it's so easy to overlook. But it builds quietly, meal after meal, month after month, until the damage becomes visible in the way you move, the way you feel, and the strength you thought you'd always have. If you want to protect your legs and your freedom, it might be time to take a hard look at the meats you're relying on, because some of the most common ones may be doing more harm than you think. And the next meat on this list carries an even deeper risk cone that doesn't just affect your legs, but your bones as well. Let's take a closer look. 2. Fried and fast food meats: fried chicken, fried fish, burgers, chicken nuggets, etc. There's a reason fast food meats are everywhere. They're easy to grab, taste good, and often cost less than a home-cooked meal. But for older adults, especially those trying to hold on to their strength and balance, they come with a quiet cost that most don't see right away. These fried and processed meats are filled with trans fats, artificial oils, and chemical preservatives. On the surface, they satisfy your hunger, but deep inside, they slowly chip away at the very muscles and joints you rely on each day. What makes them so dangerous isn't just what they contain, it's how they're cooked. Deep frying meat at high temperatures produces harmful compounds that increase inflammation in your body. This inflammation settles in your legs and joints, where it stiffens tissues, weakens muscles, and leaves you feeling slower, heavier, and more tired than you were just a few years ago. On top of that, the nutrients your muscles need, like clean protein, iron, and magnesium, are either destroyed in the cooking process or blocked from being absorbed. So while your plate looks full, your body is actually being starved of the tools it needs to stay strong. Circulation is another piece of the puzzle. The saturated fats and high sodium content in fast food meats make your blood thicker and your vessels tighter. Over time, that restricts oxygen and nutrients from reaching your lower body. You might start to notice numbness in your feet, a strange tingling in your calves, or a general sense of weakness when you stand or walk. These aren't just signs of aging. They're often symptoms of poor circulation caused in part by what's on your plate. And when muscles don't get the blood flow they need, they begin to shrink and lose power. That's when the risk of falling creeps in. For many seniors, a fall isn't just a bruise, it's a break, a hospital stay, or even a permanent loss of independence. It's heartbreaking how often the link between diet and mobility goes unnoticed. A quick burger or a fried chicken meal may feel harmless, but over time, it can strip away your ability to move freely and confidently. The truth is, every bite you take is either rebuilding your body or breaking it down. And these meats, they take more than they give. But they're not the only ones doing damage. Some meats go even deeper, draining your muscles and weakening your bones at the same time. Let's move on to the next one. 3. Bacon, sausage, and other cured pork products. Bacon and sausage have long been morning favorites. Their scent brings back memories, quiet breakfasts, family weekends, the comfort of routine. But beneath that familiar flavor lies something far more troubling, especially for those of us over 60. These cured meats, though rich and satisfying, carry hidden risks that build up slowly, quietly weakening your body from the inside out. With every bite, they contribute to the very problems that make aging harder: weaker muscles, tighter joints, and legs that just don't move the way they used to. One of the biggest issues is inflammation. Bacon and sausage are packed with saturated fats, nitrates, and artificial preservatives, all of which act like fuel for chronic inflammation. And inflammation is more than just a vague ache. Over time, it wears down muscle fibers, stiffens joints, and leaves your legs feeling sluggish and sore. What once felt like a normal walk to the mailbox might start to feel like a challenge. Movement slows. Pain creeps in. And the risk of falling becomes far more real. But it's not just inflammation. These meats are also loaded with sodium and unhealthy fats that strain your heart and narrow your blood vessels. The result is poor circulation, less oxygen reaching your legs, less nourishment where your muscles need it most. That's when the heaviness sets in. A dragging feeling in your thighs, tightness in your calves, or a strange numbness that won't go away. These aren't just small annoyances. They're signs that your body isn't getting what it needs to keep you steady and strong. Even more concerning is the toll on your nerves. The same additives that preserve bacon and sausage can interfere with nerve signals, making it harder for your brain and muscles to communicate. When balance fades or your legs stop responding the way they should, it's no longer just about comfort, it's about safety. A single misstep can lead to a fall, and for many seniors, that fall changes everything. Your food should support your strength, not steal it. And while bacon and sausage may seem harmless, their impact on aging bodies is anything but. They break down the systems you rely on to stay mobile, independent, and in control. And as harmful as these cured meats are, there are others that go even further, undermining not just strength, but the very structure of your bones. Let's keep going. The next one deserves a closer look. 4. Red meat, steak, beef, lamb, pork chops in excessive amounts. For many people, a tender steak or a hearty cut of beef has always stood for strength or reward at the end of a long day, a sign of nourishment and tradition. But as we get older, the foods that once made us feel energized can start to work against us. Red meat, while rich in protein and iron, carries risks that are often invisible at first but grow more serious over time. Eating too much of it can quietly weaken your legs, damage your joints, and strip away the muscle strength you depend on each day. One of the biggest concerns with red meat is inflammation. The saturated fats and specific compounds found in beef can trigger a slow, ongoing inflammatory reaction throughout the body. Over time, this low-grade inflammation begins to break down muscle tissue, leaving your legs feeling tight, achy, or unusually sore. It doesn't happen overnight, but it builds. That steady pressure in your knees, the stiffness that greets you each morning, the sense that walking even short distances feels heavier than it should. These are signs that something deeper is going on. But it's not just the muscles that suffer. Red meat is also highly acidic, and when consumed in large amounts, it causes the body to draw calcium from the bones to restore balance. That means each steak or roast may be quietly weakening your skeleton, especially the bones in your hips, knees, and legs. And as bone density fades, the risk of fractures rises sharply. For seniors, one fall can lead to a long hospital stay, a major drop in independence, and in some cases, changes that are hard to come back from. The problem is easy to miss. You may chalk up the fatigue or joint pain to age or the weather, but often it's the diet not time that's doing the damage. Red meat isn't the only culprit, but when eaten often, it slowly chips away at your mobility and balance, leaving you more vulnerable than you realize. And while some foods wear you down, others take it a step further. The next meat on this list doesn't just weaken your body, it interferes with your ability to heal. Let's keep going. You need to hear what's next. 5. Canned meats. Spam, Vienna sausages, canned ham, potted meats. For years, canned meats have been a reliable kitchen staple. They're easy to store, simple to prepare, and often feel like a smart, budget-friendly choice. But as we grow older, the very things that make these products so convenient can become the same reasons they quietly harm our bodies. Behind the long shelf life and salty flavor is a heavy load of preservatives, excessive sodium, and chemical additives ingredients that slowly chip away at your strength, especially in your legs. One of the most immediate concerns is sodium. Just a single portion of canned meat can contain more salt than your body needs in an entire day. And when your body holds on to that salt, it holds on to water too. That leads to swelling, higher blood pressure, and a deep dragging fatigue in your lower limbs. It becomes harder to stand for long periods, more exhausting to walk upstairs, and the sensation of tightness or cramping in your calves becomes more frequent. These aren't random aches. They're signs your circulation is struggling, starving your muscles of the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay strong. But it's not just the salt doing the damage. Most canned meats rely on artificial preservatives like sodium, nitrite, and phosphate compounds to stay fresh for months or even years. Over time, these chemicals interfere with nerve function, damage muscle fibers, and contribute to a slow, steady breakdown of your body's mobility system. That stiffness you feel in the morning, the shakiness in your legs after a short walk, it could be tied directly to what's on your plate. The worst part is how subtle the process is. You may not feel the effects after one meal, or even 1 month. But over time, your muscles begin to lose their tone, your joints grow less stable, and the simple act of getting out of a chair starts to feel like a task. It's a slow decline, meal by meal, until movement itself becomes a source of stress. And while canned meats are a major contributor, they're not the only ones. Some types of meat do more than just weaken your body. They introduce toxins and compounds that speed up muscle loss and the effects of aging. Let's turn to the next one, because this one is especially important to understand. 6. Meats high in artificial growth hormones, conventionally raised chicken, beef, pork. For generations, meat stood as a symbol of strength, something you could count on to build muscle, nourish your body, and give you energy to live a full life. But the truth is, the meat we eat today is not the same as it once was. Over time, much of the chicken, beef, and pork on store shelves has been altered raised with artificial growth hormones, treated with antibiotics, and processed in ways that quietly affect your health. These changes, while meant to increase food supply, have created unintended consequences that become especially dangerous as we age. One of the biggest problems with hormone-treated meats is how they interfere with muscle health. These synthetic hormones can throw off your body's natural balance, causing inflammation, slower muscle repair, and a faster rate of muscle loss. For seniors, that's a serious concern. Aging already brings natural muscle decline, but when hormone-laden meat becomes a regular part of the diet, it only speeds up that process. Over time, the legs become weaker, balance becomes more fragile, and simple movements like standing from a chair or walking across a room begin to feel like a struggle. Joint pain is another hidden issue. Artificial hormones have been linked to increased joint stiffness and swelling, leaving many older adults with aching knees, sore hips, or tight ankles. These discomforts are often blamed on age, but the reality is that diet plays a huge role. When you eat meat raised with chemical enhancers, you're also eating the residues left behind, residues that interfere with your body's ability to keep joints supple and strong. The damage goes even further. Hormones and antibiotics in meat can impair your nervous system and metabolism. They disrupt the way your body processes key nutrients and make it harder for muscles to repair themselves after even light activity. You might notice it as fatigue that won't go away, or a sense of heaviness in your legs that creeps in day after day, and it doesn't get better. On its own, it builds silently until one day your body simply can't keep up. And yet, some meats don't just break down your strength, they begin to interfere with the very nerves that control it. Let's keep going, because the next type of meat deserves even closer attention. 7. Meats high in preservatives and additives. There's something deeply familiar about the taste of smoked meats. The rich aroma of barbecue ribs, the savory bite of beef jerky, the comfort of something slow-cooked and full of flavor. It's food that feels like tradition. But for older adults, these very foods may be doing more harm than good. While they've long been considered hearty and satisfying, smoked and preserved meats are quietly taking a toll on your muscles, your circulation, and your ability to stay mobile and independent. The problem lies in how these meats are made. To achieve that deep flavor and long shelf life, they're loaded with chemical preservatives like nitrates and phosphates. These additives don't just enhance taste, they feed chronic inflammation. And when inflammation becomes a daily presence in your body, it doesn't just make you uncomfortable, it begins to damage the muscle fibers and weaken your bones, especially in the legs and hips. That creeping stiffness, the soreness that won't go away, or the sudden weakness after walking a short distance, those may not be signs of aging alone. They may be signs of a diet that's quietly wearing down your strength. Another serious concern is the sodium. Smoked meats are among the highest in salt content, and that salt doesn't just affect your taste buds, it affects your entire circulatory system. Too much sodium causes your body to retain fluid and raises your blood pressure. That extra pressure makes it harder for blood to flow freely to your lower limbs. And when your legs aren't receiving enough oxygen and nutrients, they start to feel heavy, numb, and weak. Cramping becomes more common, and your ability to move with ease begins to fade. For many seniors, this means reduced activity, more time sitting, and a slow loss of independence. But it doesn't end there. One of the most alarming effects of these meats is their impact on your nerves. Studies have shown that the same preservatives used to keep smoked meats fresh can interfere with nerve signals, leading to balance problems, delayed muscle response, and a loss of coordination. When your nerves can't properly communicate with your muscles, every step becomes less certain, and the risk of falling increases. Every meal you choose is either building your body or breaking it down. And these meats, while full of flavor, may be taking away far more than they give. The good news is, it's never too late to change course. And by understanding what to avoid, you can start protecting your strength, your steps, and your future beginning today. 8. What you should eat instead to keep your legs strong. Your legs are far more than just a way to move from place to place. They are the very pillars of your independence. They give you the ability to stay active, to do the things you love, and to maintain your connection with the world around you. As we grow older, every meal becomes a meaningful choice. What you eat plays a direct role in whether your legs stay strong and steady, or whether you slowly begin to lose the power and balance you once had without a second thought. The encouraging truth is that this decline is not inevitable. Just as poor food choices can break down your strength, the right ones can rebuild eye-trustering energy, improving mobility, and helping you feel more confident with every step. It begins with fighting inflammation, that quiet but constant force that breaks down muscles, stiffens joints, and makes movement more difficult. Heavily processed meats, deep-fried foods, and items filled with preservatives tend to worsen inflammation and accelerate muscle loss. But when you nourish your body with clean, natural proteins like fresh fish, skinless poultry, eggs, beans, and nuts, you provide the essential building blocks your muscles need to heal and grow stronger. Circulation matters just as much. Without healthy blood flow, your muscles can't get the oxygen and nutrients they rely on to stay active and responsive. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as wild-caught salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds help support flexible blood vessels and reduce joint pain. When you combine those with magnesium and calcium-rich leafy greens like spinach and kale, you're feeding your body exactly what it needs to support strong bones, smooth muscle function, and a reduced risk of falls. And it's not only your muscles and bones that matter, your nerves play a critical role in leg strength too. If your nerves are compromised, even the strongest muscles won't respond the way they should. That's why antioxidant-rich foods like berries, citrus fruits, and colorful vegetables are so important. They help protect the nervous system, improve coordination, and support the steady balance we all need to feel secure on our feet. Avoiding artificial chemicals and preservatives gives your nervous system space to work without interference. Staying hydrated also plays a larger role than many realize. Without enough water, your muscles can cramp, your joints can feel stiff, and even simple movement can become uncomfortable. Drinking enough water and eating moisture-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, and celery can help your body stay flexible, your joints stay smooth, and your legs feel more energized. Every bite you take shapes your future. Many seniors believe that leg weakness, instability, and pain are simply the results of aging. But more often than not, it's the result of years of choosing the wrong foods. Processed meats filled with sodium, artificial additives, and hormones don't just wear you down today, they impact your ability to move freely in the years to come. But it's never too late to change course. Your body has a remarkable ability to heal when you treat it with care. By removing harmful meats and replacing them with nourishing, whole foods that protect and rebuild, you give your legs the support they need to stay strong, steady, and pain-free. This isn't just about avoiding decline, it's about choosing strength, choosing movement, and choosing a future where you feel confident, stable, and fully alive. Let each meal reflect that choice. One bite at a time, you're either supporting your mobility or making it harder to hold on to. Choose the path that brings you back to strength. Your future self will thank you for it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.